Bstn.
Welcome to SaaSCntr. I'm your host, Pandatrick. SaaSCntr is where we cover CRM with the same enthusiasm as every Cal Raleigh at-bat for the Seattle Mariners in this year's MLB playoffs. It's a lot of enthusiasm. Speaking of the big dumper, Dreamforce 2025 just dropped and launched or started in San Francisco, and Salesforce has the answer to everything, which is more AI agents, apparently. Agentforce 360 launched and is now featuring Agent Script for programming agents via text, because apparently we've reinvented basic coding again and called it revolutionary, job mark, plus Agentforce Builder for testing and deploying agents. The kicker, deeper Slack integration, because you know that your channels definitely needed more automated messages at 4:45 p.m. on Fridays. Salesforce touts 12,000 Agentforce customers, only 3 of which responded as happy. It sounds impressive until you remember that customers and successful implementations are very different and usually open for interpretation. But hey, Benioff's handing out AI agents like Oprah. You get an agent, you get an agent, you get an agent. We would send it to our field reporter in Dreamforce, Rob Jones, but he was kicked out of the event last week before it even started. Either way, you can't knock Salesforce's strategy. If one AI agent is good, 12,000 is a hell of a lot better. It's like Oprah met Skynet and they had a baby named Enterprise Solutions. No, not so much on that one. Either way, another cybersecurity issue with Salesforce. In timing that could not be worse, speaking of Salesforce, hackers claim they stole 1 billion Salesforce customer records, billion with a B, right? As Dreamforce has now kicked off. That's like announcing, welcome to the new Hell's Kitchen location in Atlanta. Don't order the beef Wellington, it has roach turds in it. Anyway, Salesforce says no ransom, which is either incredibly principled or incredibly confident. Did we intro this as billion records being held hostage? I really respect them for not negotiating with cyber terrorists, if that's what you can call them. Anyway, customers are asking, should I be worried? And the answer is, well, hell yes. But you've probably been breached 3 or 4 times already and just don't know it yet. So, same as always? Hey, if you're lucky, you may get one of those class action lawsuit settlements where you get a check for $32.91, which is, by the way, about halfway to the cost of that discounted beef Wellington. It's worth mentioning, I have a show note here. It's worth mentioning that Salesforce's support line is now just a recording. A recording saying, have you tried turning your security on and off again? Followed by 47 minutes of hold jazz from 1988. On now to our least favorite segment, Funeral of the Week.
Funeral of the Week.
We gather now to mourn training platforms that don't actually change behavior. That's right, born in the early 2000s, LMS platforms promise to enable teams through knowledge, but here's the problem. Nobody gives a shit about watching a 45-minute training video. Why sit through Salesforce training when ChatGPT answers, how do I create a custom field in 10 seconds or less? Enablement budgets are up, but quota attainment is flat. We're spending more to achieve the same mediocre results. I will say training doesn't equal doing. Knowledge is free now. Constraint is behavior, getting people to follow a process. Tools that enforce process in the moment are the future. And I think that's what LMSs would have wanted. Training modules that just track course completion, that's not enablement. That's theater. Rest in peace, passive learning. The family asks that in lieu of flowers, please implement actual process enforcement. You can use Super. Your reps will thank you. Well, would you look at that? Speaking of process enforcement and one of the best timed commercial breaks ever, we are going to take a break, kick it to our favorite sponsor, Super, who may have been complicit in the murder of LMS. The jury's still investigating, or I guess the FBI is. Whatever makes that joke work. Super helps reps visualize expectations. Whether you're in a CRM platform like HubSpot or Salesforce, wherever documentation is needed, Super ensures that people can visualize what's expected of them. Take a look.
This is Rob. Rob is a sales rep. This is a visual example of Rob trying to follow the sales process. It's also an example of him searching for process documentation. Then Rob got supered, and process boards show him what to do now and what to do next. Rob can now visualize sales expectations. Be like Rob. Get supered.
And we're back to SaaSCntr. I'm still your host, Pan Datrick. Got a little bit of HubSpot news. At Inbound, and for the remaining month after, HubSpot has been announcing and rolling out 200 plus, that's right, 200 plus new products at the Fall Spotlight. And I have one question. Who asked for this? I don't know. Data Hub replaces Ops Hub because apparently Operations Hub wasn't operating enough. Promises to unify, quote, structured, unstructured, and external data. Marketing speak for we're vacuuming up everything. Karen Ng, EVP of Product, I believe, says companies make decisions with only 20% of their data. The solution? Well, provide 200 more features and updates that they then have to keep up with and subsequently decide if they're impactful or important or whatever enough for them to care about. That'll definitely reduce complexity. They're pushing hybrid human AI teams, which is an adorable way to describe your AI coworker might be doing your job by Q2 2026. But don't worry, AI doesn't replace people. We should know this by now. It multiplies their impact, just like your manager multiplies your workload every sprint. In all seriousness, something we rarely do on this show and will rarely do, this being our first episode, we've got to applaud HubSpot for their pace of innovation. They really, truly are solving for the customer as they've always done. Problem is that the customer is an impatient asshole. I mean, just this last week, October 9th, new CRM Smart Insights update and an explanation on what smart actually means. October 10th, an update to configure unsubscribed links in email. October 13th, custom assistance update who can now read HubSpot data. October 14th, customer agent can now, get this, view and edit contact properties. October 15th, customer agent now wonders why you never circle back with them or offer them discounts or want to hear about their day, huh? Look, this show isn't red leaning or blue leaning. It's orange leaning, by God. And I will never stop being the biggest stan alive of Dharmesh, of Yamini, of John Dick, of Carrot, their product team, the other Caleb King, the city of Boston, the customers, HubSpot reps, Indy. Are you playing me off? On our first show. Well, that didn't last long. Look, I'll wrap it up. HubSpot's product strategy is throw everything at the wall and see what gets adopted before the free trial expires. We've known that. But with Supered, that would be 100% of your team's processes in HubSpot, by the way. Well, got a bit of... Yeah, we were going to go to a segment about tech layoffs. Unfortunately, the writer for that story, and ironically, has been recently laid off. So, welcome to a new segment called Mount Rushmore. Pause for production. Yeah, Mount Rushmore. Every week we look at the top 4 of whatever it is I feel like that week. And this week, top 4 AI excuses that justify your job losses. Number 4, streamlining operations. It's corporate speak for we're firing people and keeping the work. Stream is also a body of water like a creek, as in we were already up shit creek and now we have reallocated funds for your paddle. Number 3, organizational realignment. Sounds like fixing something broken when really you're breaking something that worked. Which reminds me I need to make an appointment with my chiropractor. Number 2, right-sizing the workforce. Victim blaming, but for employment. Interesting that both downsize and right-size are the same direction in this analogy, and it's downright corporate BS for the vehicle we're using to travel along our product roadmap is now a Waymo. It's just for you, Austin. And number 1, AI transformation. Yep, that's right. The champion. We're not firing you. We're transforming into a digital-first AI augmented future. Translation there. ChatGPT is cheaper than your salary and doesn't need health insurance or dental. Vision, TBD. If your CEO uses any of these in all hands, update your LinkedIn profile immediately. We're not currently hiring at Supered, but see what we can do. Moving on. Everybody's favorite segment, the blooper reel. We're doing AI oops.
When the prompt is good, but the output's poop, it's AI oops.
This week on AI oops, the entire enterprise AI pilot ecosystem sporting a 95% failure rate. That's right. 19 out of 20 AI projects fail harder than a drunk giraffe on roller skates. Here's the problem. AI does 3 months of work in about 5 minutes. Sounds amazing. Trust me, it's pretty cool to see. Until humans have to review that work. You've traded 3 months of work for 5 minutes of output plus 2 weeks of verification. Congratulations. You've automated yourself into a bottleneck. IBM, on a semi-related note, cut 8,000 workers for automation, then quietly rehired them as gig workers. Klarna bragged about AI doing 700 people's work, then rehired those people 5 months later. TLDR, AI will in fact take your jobs, but only momentarily before giving them right back to you. Just stay vigilant, fam. MIT economist Darren Acemoglu predicts modest productivity impacts over 10 years. We're burning billions to achieve moderate improvements. Nothing makes me happier than watching companies speed run, implement AI, and fire everyone, only to discover AI can't actually do the job. That's great. Speaking of doing the job, another quick break here related to an AI that actually does work and has worked for quite a while now. 2 questions. 1, do you suck at spelling? 2, do you frequent the internet? Well, if either one of those applied to you, check out this chart-topping hit about our friends at Grammarly in this week's Song of the Week.
I should post something on LinkedIn, right? Looking for a job. How's this sound? I'm looking for a role in pubic relations.
Maybe you should work on your public communication.
Headed to the doc for my annual flu shit.
Weird, that's the thing I hope you want to prevent.
Our in-ground poo is right at 9 feet deep.
Holy crap, that's gross, but I kinda wanna see.
Despite all the negative press, Kofifi.
You could just avoid the negativity completely. You don't know the difference between a 2 and 2, but if you had some common sense, they wouldn't know that about you. You can fake it till you make it. Bad spelling, just telling the internet you're trying to break it. One lost comma won't cause the death of your mama, but she damn well might fake it. Some advice if you'll take it. Help is cheap. Grammarly works and the web is deep, so fake it till you make it. So fake it till you make it.
Violators will be towed and fined $50.
I'm about to be violating constantly.
Are you sure that you want to exist?
Damn, I'm hesitating, what's wrong with me?
Over 10 billion customers severed.
Crazy carnage numbers for a burger joint.
I love the smell of expensive colon.
Are you guys finally getting the point? Yeah. You don't know the difference between the 2 and 2, but if you had some common sense, they wouldn't know that about you. You can fake it till you make it. Bad spelling, just telling the internet you're trying to break it. One lost comma won't cause the death of your mama, but she damn well might fake it. Some advice if you'll take it. Help is cheap. Grammarly works and the web is deep, so fake it till you make it. So fake it till you make it. So fake it till you make it.
Welcome back to SaaSCntr. I'm your host, Pan Datrick, and I want to admit something. I lied to you moments ago. I said that everybody's favorite segment was AI. Oops. That is not true. This is everybody's favorite segment. It's time for Nice Ass.
Nice SaaS.
This week, Filigran is the Nice Ass, this Paris-based cybersecurity SaaS that raised $58 million. That's more than most people's GDP. The round was led by Eurazeo, Insight Partners, and Excel. The 3 wise men, instead of gold and frankincense, they bring term sheets and unsolicited growth advice. That's what everybody wanted. What does Filigran do? Well, cybersecurity and data platforms, which in 2025 is printing money because were you listening earlier about the second Salesforce data security breach we've had in the last 2 weeks? Probably not, but that's what it's for. That's how they got $58 million. European SaaS is on fire right now. UK's Patchworks closed £5 million. San Francisco's Glue, which isn't technically in Europe, they raised 20. Must be a global thing. And can we talk about filigrane? Sounds like a French dessert, but it's cybersecurity. That is range. Must be weird for their sales team. No, we don't cater events, but we might. Also, filigrane making cybersecurity look good, and if that's not impressive in 2025, then I don't know what is. That sector is usually as attractive as a CAPTCHA test. Last segment of the day for our inaugural episode. Had to end it the right way. It's time now for Finally Adopted. Finally Adopted is our SFDC segment. What a mouthful. SFDC segment where we talk about the joys of adoption, process adoption, that is. We are unfortunately not in partnership with Sarah McLachlan yet. First up, partners, because Superd loves partners. Here's a few shout outs to people who have gotten Superd operator certifications recently, which apparently is a must-have job requirement. I've seen 2 or 3 posts listing that as a definite plus in getting hired at a HubSpot agency. I'm going to say any names. Pause awkwardly in the show notes. All right, I've awkwardly paused. Cert graduations. Lucy Strack from Bloom Transitions. Congrats, Lucy. Jess Mirabello from Alpha Whale. Casey Goodrich, Lake One. And the All Demand team, by the way, founded by Eva McCann, is officially a Superd partner. Woo! Confetti cannons. Confetti cannons. I'll tell you what, that's the best news I've gotten since my dermatologist told me that freckle on my arm was just that, in fact, a freckle. Dodged a bullet there. Also, Second Mile, Hannah Lee, who participated in the 10K pitch. Hannah Lee at Second Mile says she's had 4 or 5 conversations in the past 2 weeks with folks who have heard about their fiber e-commerce solution. That's right, on LinkedIn. And they've upped bookings from 180K to, get this, 650,000 because of Package Builder. As they say, good things come in Superd packages. Well, that's all. Sweating. That's it for the first ever official episode of SaaSCntr on Bstn. Just know we did hear your feedback, sincerely, about making the show shorter, about introducing more cuts and B-roll, about making the host suck less. And you know what? We listened. We did. We documented everything. But then we couldn't find any of that documentation when it was needed, right now, in the flow of work, which isn't great for the audience, but our audience doesn't have to have that problem. They get Superd. See you next time on SaaSCntr.
Bstn.
Pardon the POV, I'm Rob Jones. I'm not sure if pink is my color or not. And you might be?
I'm Crispy, Internet's boyfriend, swagged up, supered out, and ready for the POV.
Ready to dive in. The top thing I want to talk about today, Crispy, at Dreamforce this week in San Francisco, Salesforce launched Agentforce 360. Thank God. Announced they now have 12,000 Agentforce customers. According to CX Today, the Agentforce 360 platform is taking Salesforce beyond CRM to support customer-facing teams in automating longer tail tasks across enterprise platforms. That's a tongue twister. The question to you, are enterprises actually ready for this?
Enterprise moves slowly. Enterprises are slow behemoths that take too long to make decisions, much like my wife. And so the thing that will happen is they will take much longer to introduce AI into their tech stack, which is exactly what's happening now. So make your decision on what you want for dinner, and you will see the rewards from that. So short answer, yes. Long answer, I think a lot of these things are like longer tail tasks of, hey, customer, here's your knowledge base article that we can surface. And that's it.
Yeah, 12,000 number doesn't tell you how many of them are happy or how many of them actually had something resolved, right? So how many were successful implementations? I think I agree. The world is ready for AI, whether it wants to be or not, to some extent. It's 45% of all VC-backed funding, I think, in the last 2 quarters. The question to me is more, are businesses and their organizational structures and the processes that they've implemented ready to start supplementing what they're doing with AI?
No.
If they can't do it now without AI or without automation, is it suddenly going to be a silver bullet to fix everything?
That's the problem with most businesses, is that they think that their problems are solvable with technology, when 90% of the time it's a process issue. Like, typically, this is why provider ecosystems are as big as they are, because they think beyond just tech stack and they go into the process.
I'm over AI almost completely, and we have another story later on why it may not work at all. Let's get to the next one. This is debate 2. I'm gonna let you read this one.
Just days before Dreamforce, right? This is like last week, I think, is when I saw this on Reddit and other platforms. Hackers claim to hold $1 billion or 1 million records ransom from Salesforce hacking. And so they breached via SalesLoft Drift product integration with Salesforce, and Salesforce is refusing to pay the ransom. I saw there's a big landing page showing them where the process is and stuff like that, how many records are breached, where the records are coming from, like Disney, Netflix, stuff like that. Yeah. So I'll say it for everybody in the room, right? Looking directly into the camera. You never negotiate with terrorists. And I don't know if that's the right word or not, but any sort of cybersecurity threat with 1 billion records is basically, it is a ransom. It is something that, whether it's Salesforce, HubSpot, whoever, I would not negotiate. I think this is the right thing. They're currently not negotiating, correct? So if you give a mouse a cookie, right, it's going to ask for a glass of milk. If you give a hacker any money, they're going to ask for the rest of your bank account. Salesforce is worth what? 500 billion. They're worth a ton of money. So it's going to start off as a small thing for 1 billion records. If they got in that easy, I know they had another breach of security last week where a domain name was repurchased for $5 or something, and they were able to. Maybe this is perhaps how they got some of the records. But if you start doing that and negotiating with people like this, it's a slippery slope. I say they shouldn't do it. Period. I know that the data is important. I get that. They should have been more careful with it up front. But if you give into these types of demands, you'll be giving into them forever. Sandlot, forever. Yeah, maybe we focus less on AI agents and more on security of our customers' data instead.
What a thought. Yeah, so you're with me then. This makes 2 points for Rob. Great. This will be a quick show. Debate 3, and this is going to be on our other segment, but is SaaS actually dying, and who murdered it? Spoiler, AI had something to do with it. Is SaaS dead? Debate is heating up again this week as Dreamforce highlights AI agents replacing traditional apps. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella famously said, let me get this quote here, traditional business applications will soon collapse. Well, that was anticlimactic. Because AI agents will shift business logic to an AI layer, eliminating the need for traditional SaaS backends. Everybody loves a nice SaaS, especially when it comes to the backend. Jokes. You can laugh, Crispy. Is he right? I mean, is SaaS dying again?
No, that's such a huge generalization. Like, maybe utility apps can be replaced, like things that are only built to do one specific thing that kills monotony. Yes, those will die. Is SaaS dead? No. That's like saying that ChatGPT will replace all doctors. It's like if my ass hurts and I go ChatGPT and say, hey, my ass hurts, and it prescribes me, well, you should probably stop doing blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's really not the same experience as going to a doctor and getting like an actual physical and getting like checked out and stuff like that. So is SaaS dead? No, it's not. Agents will continue to become better in what they are able to do, but they will never replace the ability for a human to create a product that solves many different problems across a business cycle, much like Super does.
Yeah, I think it's whatever you decide to call it, right? SaaS, software as a service. It could be evolving to agents as a service. And what that will eventually end up looking like is more of a software program that is monitored or somehow embedded with AI to generate the same types of outcomes. But death, no. Even if this were the, not even the last leg, but like indicative of something of a platform shift, right? We've seen these tons of times where it was from landlines to cell phones, and now that died out. From Blockbuster to Netflix, and the way people interface has changed. That takes time, right? As fast as AI is and as fast as it learns and trains, it's not dying, in the next 2 to 3 years. And by that time, I think we've already seen kind of the bubble of productivity as far as MIT coming out and saying that 95% of AI implementations are just dog shit. They don't work at all. There's no benefit to productivity. I think that is going to, I don't know if I'm using burst the bubble in the right context here, but it's going to be something like that where we see a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of really desperate people and boards that have invested all this money to make it work, when in the reality is it doesn't work right now. And to replace the entire SaaS industry and all the people that have done that is going to take it. No, it's not dead. No, it's not dying. It might have a cold, maybe like a seasonal allergy type of deal, but no, definitely not dying anytime soon. Before I stomp you into submission again, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsor, which is Supered.
The super duper feature update. It's super duper duper.
The death of LMS for sales. Supered Squad. Look, Supered is the death for any LMS that's about sales, is teaching sales something. It's just the death of it. Because sales need what? They don't need knowledge transferred. They need things distributed in the right place at the right moment at the right time. That's what Supered does. We're sales ergonomics. And one of the things we needed was the ability to put your own videos, host them directly into Supered. That is now done. Let me just hand it over to Super Steve to show you how it works.
What is up, y'all? Super Steve here, coming in with a pretty cool update. It's small but mighty. Supered now supports uploading your own videos and hosting them out of Supered. Let's go ahead and do that here in this card. So all that you do is the /video command, and this is where in the past you could do embeds and you could do small file uploads, but like 15 megabytes, it wasn't super useful. The new video uploader supports up to 1 gig videos, which goes pretty far. If you're doing a normal, like that'd be like an hour-long type of screen share, and we can also adjust that if we need to. Let's go ahead and pick a small little upload here. So the file will upload, hosted through Supered, and then it will render with the correct aspect ratio into the card. And one cool thing with this is this even supports aspect ratios that are not normally supported. So let's find one here that is a like TikTok style video. Where's that thing at? There we go. So when this loads here, we'll have our different aspect size video. Go ahead and center that as well. And then this will, of course, work in the Chrome extension. So let's go ahead and search for video test. So these will work just like normal videos in the sidebar here. So small but mighty update because now you don't need an external system like Loom to host these videos. And I guess one cool thing to add here is that these videos are securely uploaded. So if you do a public share of these, people that have the link will be able to see the video, which is what we want. But if they try to access this video, like if they were able to get the video asset URL and access it without having login, they won't be able to. So everything is securely in Supered and only available to your users or to people that you want to have visibility to via our share settings. So as always, stay awesome, stay Supered.
Bstn.
And we're back with Pardon the POV, and my ass hurts, according to ChatGPT. So, tech layoffs hit 180,000 workers in 2025. That is 489 people losing their job every single day. Intel, Microsoft, TCS, all slashing most jobs, right, with companies explicitly citing AI transformation and automation as the reason. So the big question is AI the thing that's causing layoffs? Is it driving the unemployment in these people?
I like to think AI is the scapegoat, right? Mm-hmm. So the same people that would send outbound messages to every person in the company at a job they're applying for to kind of vet them and ask them questions of the role, to do their due diligence and that, those are the people that are not worried about AI taking their jobs. AI is going to augment what they can do, their abilities. It's going to make them more useful. So AI is probably used as a scapegoat for this, but it's not the reason. It is trendy to be able to blame AI. Is the South Park, it took our jobs. I don't think that this will continue being a reason. Now, that also is with the caveat that I guess it depends a lot upon which jobs are being lost. 489 a day is a astronomical number. 180,000 this year that are being lost.
Yeah.
If this is let's say 75% like EA and like assistant type of work, the more quote unquote menial tasks that AI is more suited to replace, maybe I can get behind some of that, but it's not the reason. AI is only, in a lot of cases in my job, your job, AI is kind of amplifying and being able to supplement what you already do. But to your point, it's not making the decisions for you. I think people will continue to blame AI when they're already just by personality trait and by character, not a go-getter, not a self-starter, not motivated. Whenever they have that and then AI shows up, it's easier for them to look at that as a reason that they're not advancing and are instead getting fired or laid off.
I have a spicy opinion about this. And I'll tell the story from my professional soccer days, right? I had a manager one time, it was my second pro team that I ever played for. It was, he would call people donuts. He's an English guy who would call people donuts. And the reason you were called a donut is because your head was shoved so far up your own ass that your body is shaped like a donut. So if AI is replacing your job, it's because you're a donut, because your head is shoved up your ass and you don't know where to go from there. Number two is you're doing such menial and redundant things in your job right now. You're not evolving with the business or technology, which alludes to the fact that you're a donut. And so for those that are getting their jobs replaced, it's likely due to the fact that AI can do your job very easily, or someone else can absorb your job duties and not experience any impact in like their day-to-day responsibilities. And so I agree, AI is not replacing people's jobs. It's replacing the wasted resources in the form of people in most businesses.
Yeah, I have a stat here, right? So Microsoft reported 76.4 billion in revenue last quarter. That's an 18% year-over-year increase, and they laid off almost 20,000 people. Meta, similarly, seeing a 22% bump in sales while cutting thousands. That's not AI efficiency, that's greed, right? Like that's, if you can rearrange and make the money look like AI is able to get rid of people and functionality, then could those people have been eliminated without you having to resort to calling it AI for that, right? Yeah. So a lot of this is very, I don't know, I'd call it clickbait. I think that AI implementations, as we saw, I think MIT came out with this, failing at 95% rates. If they're replacing jobs, then the people whose jobs they may or may not have replaced are coming back very quickly because AI is not generating the results that was initially thought when all this money was invested.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish I had a mic to drop. Debate 5. I know you got some spicy takes on this one. Training versus enforcement. It's what we do. Is debate this and tell people that they're wrong. The training industry is under siege, Crispy. According to recent SaaS enablement data, enablement budgets are up, but quota attainment remains flat. Where's Bolian? We need him to just run through a wall like Kool-Aid Man and give us this take. Companies are spending more on training, but seeing the same mediocre results. Lack of adoption, lack of process compliance. With AI providing instant answers, are traditional LMS platforms just expensive course completion trackers now?
Yes, LMSs are garbage. Like LMSs are terrible. Like if we want to think about training versus enforcement, the idea of training and enforcement is one singular outcome between both of those different things. And it is, how do I get people to do the right thing at the right time when it's needed? That's what you want to do. That's what training is. And it's what you're supposed to teach people how to do every single time. An LMS does not teach someone how to do that. An LMS is a glorified quiz platform that gives you artificial badges that mean absolutely nothing. And everyone hates doing it. Hashtag HubSpot Academy as an example. 8 hours to do a course that gives you no functional exercise inside of a HubSpot instance or a customer environment at all. Like methodology is great, but how do I know what to do? That's the big difference, the big gap. Information access is not the same as actual learning and the tactics to do the thing. And that is exactly what we solve for as a platform and why LMSs don't work.
You could have gone further in with the plug there. I think there's a misnomer here, right? The question was, are with AI providing instant answers, are traditional LMS platforms just expensive course? They've always been expensive course completion trackers, right? An LMS will teach you how to avoid learning, or how to check a box, or how to get through with the next course, like continued ed, all that stuff. But what AI is not doing is putting things where and when. Like people ask, what is Supered all the time? And you've alluded to that. My response that worked incredibly well at Inbound is like, that's the wrong question. Where is Supered is more of a pertinent question, because it's in the flow of work, and it's all of the stuff that you don't have to go look for, the documentation, all of that stuff is now in the flow of work. So that's the where, when you need it. In order for an LMS to work, right, you go take this 2 or 3 hour training, you have a course, and then you have to later on in a different environment, digital or otherwise, apply those learnings from the course to whatever it is you're working on now. That I don't need to be in SaaS or a salesperson or be in ops to tell you that cognitively that's not how it works. You ever heard of memory and state dependent? Context, mood, and state dependent memory are things. And that is more of the reason why LMSs and training that's off platform doesn't work at all. What people want are the results and the thing to be executed. So it's less of documentation that's more corporate and rigid, and more of, Crispy, what are your expectations of me as a rep? What are your expectations of me as somebody in ops or on a certain team? That is visualized directly wherever that person is, as long as they have internet access.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I agree. And I'll give an example, right? 2 examples, actually. If I tell AI, my head hurts, what should I do? It's like, cut your head off. Like, get rid of it. Like,
as long as it's not your ass again.
As long as it's not my ass again. Yeah. So we're making progress. We're going up the body. So the thing that AI will not solve for in this use case is thinking about the variability of process and how it affects different teams and departments inside of a business, even product and service lines. And so AI is often used now actually to define the documentation, in the sense of, here is my high level process that I defined as a human. Now add more details and make it look professional. That's basically the usage of AI in regards to process currently. Here's why it won't work, is because the previous version of sales enablement before this big thing happened called COVID was that everyone was in a room together as a sales team, and they were learning from each other through osmosis. They were understanding, hey, Rob's the best seller. How does he do it? He follows this process. Here's what he does every single time, because they see it in front of their face as they're working. AI will not solve for that in this era that we're in right now, or the next one at all. The only thing that does solve for that is what Super does, which is putting the right thing in the flow of work without leaving the platform that you're in. That is the solution.
And knowledge is free, right? So training and LLM, that's all free. To your point, you can spit something out that's pretty close and you can edit it. The constraint is behavior. The constraint is not training, right? Getting people to learn is different than getting them to act. And so following a process is different than teaching them about a process, right?
Yeah.
So what tools that enforce process in the moment of work are now not like seeing 90 to 95% adoption rates across. That is what Super does. It is not, to your point, in an office or we used to have like a back coffee room. We were not very well funded at all. But yeah, that's where a lot of that stuff happened. But it was osmosis. The feedback loop was tighter. The example was more hands-on in real time, right? I didn't have to go do a course and then have somebody a day later grade it and then give feedback. All of that is massively important to like habit forming behavior. So whenever you have something that's in the moment, in the flow, like where and when you are currently, it's more effective. This is less about AI taking LMS's job at all, right? That was kind of the debate, and more about just cognitively, that is not the best way to train a behavior towards what you want it to look like as an end state.
Exactly. All right, next topic, HubSpot bloat or growth. So here's a scenario. HubSpot announced 200 new product updates at their fall spotlight last week. 200, which is wild, including Data Hub, which was announced at Inbound, which is going to replace Operations Hub, with the idea being companies make decisions based upon a really small subset of their data, because the other 80% is scattered across different platforms and stuff like that. So in order to solve for data being scattered across more platforms, they introduced 200 new product updates, which just makes a lot of sense to me. And so is this bloat? Is this growth in the right direction? What does this mean to introduce more tools to further scatter data inside of one singular system?
I think this is, I love HubSpot. You know that I'm wearing the HubSpot shirt right now. I think this is two separate things happening at once. Is the solution adding 200 more tools? I think it was less tools and more product updates, feature updates, that type of thing, not necessarily 200 new agents or brand new tools. But the side point, making things more complex is not making them easier to adopt. It's not easier to train behavior there. It's not easier. It's not a good solution for being able to fix UX or the ability to get people to actually use the software. So that's separate. You don't introduce more tools to get people to use more tools. That's counterintuitive. What I do think it is a brilliant marketing tactic, right? Like loop marketing and the announcement coinciding with inbound did two things. One was like, oh, HubSpot, how many updates? 200 of them dropped all now. They are innovating. And so in this era and basically any other era, speed wins. So being able to innovate that quickly wins 9 times out of 10. I'd say maybe 9.5 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So great marketing by them. Was it fully fleshed out? No. And that's why the forcing function of here's all this stuff that we still have to introduce. Even, some of the articles on how to use Loop and diving in deeper to what this actually looks like and getting into certain verticals isn't updated or fleshed out yet. But it does hold them accountable for being able to finish that and give more insight into it. So does that help people with whatever they're doing with 200 new things? Not really. Was it great marketing? Yes. Is innovation at this speed critical now, especially with who they're competing against? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that they're going to run into a point in time when this will start to bite them in the ass. Here's an example. I'm a customer who uses Salesforce as an example. Do you know what the assumption is for every customer that uses Salesforce as their CRM? What's the big thing that you need?
An engineer.
Yeah, you have to hire someone full-time to maintain your Salesforce instance. That's like an assumption that every Salesforce customer in the world knows. The difference with HubSpot and their value prop to date has been it works out of the box. It's really easy to configure, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that this combats against with this velocity of product updates is, okay, if it works on its own, I now have to assign someone internally or somehow keep track of these product updates and then re-engineer all of these things, even though I don't have a dedicated resource. Like the compelling value prop that HubSpot has against Salesforce is diminished by the fact that their product roadmap is so aggressive, because it means I have to rely on a service provider or an internal admin to go and keep up with these product updates to fully see the value of the platform. So this is like, if they ever want to make the jump to the mid-market enterprise sector, they're going to have to overcome the narrative of it is easy to design and you need an admin. Like those things don't really align all that much in the sense of how a business can use HubSpot and keep up with product updates without hiring a full-time admin,
Yeah, I think that HubSpot has benefited tremendously. Salesforce kind of, I don't know if it wrote the playbook on this or developed it. They were definitely first, right? I think Salesforce CRM was introduced in 99 or 2000. So they had a 20-year advantage in this space. HubSpot was founded in 2006, was a marketing automation platform for about 14 years, and they started getting into the CRM space. All that as context for somebody's going to have products and tools and processes require owners no matter what. HubSpot has just had to require less of that because of its ease of use out of the box.
Yes.
As they're trying to compete and move up market with Salesforce and with enterprise solutions like that, they're going to have somebody that what they're not going to have is an LMS or a bunch of updated training. By the time something is updated, 200 product updates and whatnot, somebody's going to have to go in and own that and be able to deploy it seamlessly in the team's plural flow of work across the platform. So something like what Supered offers and what we help solve for is that thing. Now, does it require more of an owner or ownership team with ops and being able to communicate those updates to the people using the system? Absolutely. But it should not, going back to the other debate we had, it shouldn't be separate from the entity they're using.
Yes.
Think about the functionality of HubSpot as a marketing automation platform jumping into the CRM space. Growth begets complexity. So being more complex is just the next step in the road. Thankfully, the yet to be determined usefulness of AI with some of this, from data unstructured and moving that is it's kind of what we were talking about earlier with innovation. They are throwing a lot of stuff at the figurative wall.
Yep.
And seeing what is actually getting ROI, what is actually leading to increased productivity. And that, unfortunately, for some admin who are already armies of one, is going to require more ownership and more of them, learning and experimenting and failing with the tool itself.
Yeah. Here's my prediction. HubSpot will never get to enterprise sector. Period.
Hot take alert. Why is that?
because it's not possible to overcome this narrative that Salesforce has been building for the past 25 years. Like, you know why it's called SFDC, Salesforce.com? Because it was born in the .com era. Like, there's just this, I was going to give a really bad reference. I'll think of a much better one instead. It's like trying to tell someone the sky's not blue. The sky is Salesforce blue, unfortunately, in the enterprise sector, and it always will be, because the assumption, and this goes back to like the HubSpot mantra of like crafted, not cobbled, is HubSpot's mantra. In the enterprise sector, you have to be cobbled. You can't have a crafted tech stack. It's a much better use case to fit the need of whatever the team, department, or business line is, versus creating a unified experience, because you can figure out how to unify it through other platforms. Enterprise sector will never get to the stage of being crafted, because you have much more strict, IT infrastructure and multiple global, teams using many different platforms and different languages. And ultimately you're looking for the best tool that fits the job, not the most crafted experience for the team members using it.
So with that, do you think their usage of AI to be able to kind of accelerate, shorten the gap between them and Salesforce is ill-founded, or do you think that'll help?
I don't think so, because Salesforce is also leveraging AI, and like Agentforce is much bigger than what HubSpot is doing in the form of AI agents. Like it's way bigger and way more impactful just from what we can see in the data. And so HubSpot can't use that as a gap to get closer to Salesforce, because Salesforce is already doing the same thing. So the gap is just remaining the same as they both go upwards together. The only thing that will end up happening, which may, and this is what I've heard in the ecosystem recently, is that when the day that Salesforce builds a Marketing Hub or Marketing Plus equivalent will be very interesting for HubSpot. That's always been the gateway product for most mid-market or enterprise level companies with HubSpot, is buy Marketing Hub as an automation tool first and then get exposed to other products and cross-sell, upsell from there. But the day that Salesforce builds a one-for-one like for Marketing Hub, Marketing Plus, hashtag Pardot sucks, that will be the day when things start to change.
So this is not on the list, but it's debate number 9 or whatever number we're on now. And I'll just go ahead and ask you this. In light of what you just said, the 20-year gap, Salesforce market share, I saw something the other day. They're light years ahead, right? They had all the time in the world to be able to do it. Do you think it's worth a HubSpot competing and valiantly attempting to get to an enterprise level just to prevent a monopoly, people will always hate Salesforce and attempt to move away and consolidate. Businesses are also not stagnant. So somebody that may be up and coming and have to restructure or consolidate or be able to get more niche into what they're doing would then look at HubSpot 10 years ago and say, there's no way we can use this for what we're doing. And then now be able to say, I'm not paying a 5-year contract that's 5x worth this for this functionality. Yeah. Do you think it's worth somebody attempting to get there just to be competitive with Salesforce and prevent the monopoly that's existed for the last 20 years?
Yes, and I think it's already happening. And the monopoly avoidance track is AI is going to be powerful enough to design a CRM on its own. As in that will be the prompt in a GPT model is, hey, I run this type of business. Here are the things that I want to track, the reporting outcomes that I want to see, and I want this to be really easy to use. Here are the X, Y, and Z data points that I want. Plug that into a GPT, and it creates a custom CRM for you. Boom, done, no problem. Custom application. I think that will be the future of what, to avoid the Salesforce monopoly or enterprise disruption, is going to be AI-powered and built CRMs ready to go in 10 seconds. It will mean that there is not going to be as much of a heavy reliance upon service provider to design the basic mechanics of a CRM, such as the data architecture or the object infrastructure or the data itself, importing and exporting out of different systems. It's going to be very much a plug and play process of, hey, I have a dog grooming business. Create me a dog grooming business CRM, and AI will do it in a split second.
I can't wait for me to not be alive when that world happens. That's terrifying. Well, we've gone back and forth. I think I destroyed you on this one. I am going to say good night, Canada, like Tony Kornheiser does. And we will see you next week on Pardon the POV. Crispy, any closing remarks?
Be a good human.
I actually like that. See you next time.
Bstn.